You are listening to the Fleaflicker podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fleaflicker NFL SHOW. I'm your host, Ari Bumar, and I'm joined by my close friend, Amal Ronak. What's up, Amal?
What's up, man?
So let's just dive right into it. I want to talk about Patrick Mahomes.
That's another interesting topic that we're going to go through. And then we'll also talk about the Colts upsetting the Chiefs. That was also, completely unexpected, even as a Colts fan. That was very interesting to see.
Yeah, we both picked the Chiefs to win it.
Yeah, and then we'll also be talking about later on Jay Gruden and his recency of him getting fired from the Redskins. And even there's allegations of him even smoking weed. That's even
Oh, and he was hitting on some young girls too. It was really weird.
And then we'll also be talking about Christian McCaffrey and how he's right now in MVP talks, serious MVP talks, into becoming this next league MVPs. Then we'll give bold predictions on some major bold predictions on what will happen this year and in the future. And also we'll be giving, as of right now, our season MVP votes. I think we can do that as well. And then we'll end it with a recap of last week and then what's going to happen this upcoming week and give our game predictions.
Yep, week 6 game predictions. It's already been 6 weeks. That's
it's crazy, yeah.
Okay, so let's dive right into it. The Colts, we were talking about this before we started and how you were still throwing shade at Josh McDaniels for, just completely jumping ship.
I was just off.
Yeah, but when you think about it, Frank Reich was for sure. I mean, you couldn't expect more from Frank Reich.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, I wasn't skeptical at all. Even during the signing, I was still I was pretty excited because, he just led the Eagles to the Super Bowl as offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So, who knows what he would do with Andrew Luck at quarterback. So, I thought it was cool. I thought he was a good signing. So, I was very happy with him as head coach. And clearly, he even showed it today with this past week when he beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who were undefeated.
There's only 2 undefeated teams left.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Now, one of them is probably more crazy than the other. The San Francisco 49ers. But, yeah. I was more surprised in this game about how Patrick Mahomes played. I think he was I don't know, it just didn't seem like Patrick Mahomes. He did really, in the one touchdown pass he threw though, it was exceptional. Mm-hmm. He was running.
That was one of the best plays I've seen this year.
He was he was running, I think, close to 20 yards in that play alone and then still got the touchdown.
I saw he ran, I think, 60 yards in that play.
Oh, really?
It was either 40 or 60. I don't remember the real number.
Because he kept on running.
He was running around in circles like crazy.
And then he eventually threw the ball to Pringle and got the touchdown.
That just shows you, well, one thing, it shows you that he's such a good player that he's getting some guy named Pringle touchdowns in a 100-yard game.
Yeah, he had 100 yards in a touchdown.
I think I saw a Colts player say this after the game. It was that play was amazing, but the fact that we have the only way he could score was by making those amazing plays is testament to how good our defense was.
Correct.
I 100% agree with that. Their defense was playing amazing. Darius Leonard was out. For those of you who don't know, all pro linebacker, just not in the game. You got Malik Hooker. He's a Pro Bowl safety. He's out with a meniscus. When is he coming back this year?
Yeah, he is. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. He has a torn meniscus. He has a torn meniscus right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he'll be back though for sure. And then Darius Leonard's now out of concussion protocol, so he should be back. But we also played with a hurt Marlon Mack and T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton didn't really play up to par, I guess you could say. He had 4 receptions for 37 yards. But Marlon Mack, my goodness. It's not even just Marlon Mack. The entire rushing crew just carried. Because Brissett didn't have that much offense with him. He had 150 yards and a pick. But Marlon Mack really carried. He had 132 rushing yards on 29 carries. And Wilkins also had 28 yards. So, just the rushing game altogether. Just compare that to the Chiefs, who had 40 combined rushing yards. It's just... It's not even comparable. Mm-hmm. The Colts... I think this gives a testament to how good their O-line is. Because, if they're running the ball close to 35, 40 times a game,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. It's all the O-line. And I'm pretty sure you've seen, like, Quentin Nelson, like, he has, like, a hat that says, run the ball, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, run the damn ball.
Run the damn ball.
I love that. That's amazing.
And, I mean, it works, because Brissett only threw 29 times that game, so it definitely works. But, I mean, Mahomes, I also saw he was, like, limping a lot throughout the game.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. So obviously he's playing hurt now. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious because I'm pretty sure I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but the Lions game he was also limping, and I think he got hurt like week 1. He was limping then too.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is like a fresh injury or like like just a continuous thing that keeps on happening. And the thing is, I don't know if it's how major it's gonna be because it's probably affecting his ability to run around, which, like, when you think about it, I think I saw this stat. Again, don't remember the number, saw this on Twitter, but he was, like, the number 1 player when it comes to throwing on the run. And it was, like, a huge margin. Richard Trubisky was actually on that top 5 list, by the way.
Because, I mean, but he's also mobile.
Apparently he's better, running and throwing than just throwing from the clean pocket. But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's playing hurt. And that's definitely I think that's impacted their offense because, like, he's one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the league, and so many of his plays come from him scrambling. You saw it on that 1 touchdown pass. That's literally how he makes, like, a ton of his big plays. So we'll see how, like, that injury impacts him later on if it sticks around and whether or not he's going to be the same mobile player. But again, it's not a major injury, but it's just something to look at, I think.
Definitely. Damian Williams did not impress me at all.
LaShawn McCoy didn't get a single carry.
LaShawn McCoy did not get any carries. He was there as a receiving back this game and didn't even do well in receiving. He had 2 receptions for 23 yards. And, I mean, it's like an off performance from Mahomes. He only had 1 touchdown. I was quite surprised.
That's 2 off performances in a row. So
he had 1 touchdown combined
in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So I think as a fan of football, I'm excited because I'm tired of seeing teams like the Chiefs going off and scoring like 35 points a game. I like seeing like the fact that 2 defenses in a row have been able to almost crack this offense down, and they're limiting their offensive production. I think as a fan of football in general, that's just like amazing to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and even like Mahomes, we'll talk about it like later on when we get to the game predictions for this upcoming week. They're against the Texans, so that's going to be that's also going to be. They have a really good defense, a formidable defense that they have with J.J. Watt and their D line. So that's going to be, and the Colts weren't even at full strength, so that's even more impressive. How they were like losing people like flies. It's almost I can't compare it to the Eagles because the Eagles were just dead on their offense, on their defense. But, I mean, they were close to that.
You guys are losing players for sure.
Yeah, it was quite impressive. I think Justin Houston was the MVP of that.
He won Defensive Player of the Week for the
exactly.
AFC.
Yeah, exactly. He had 78.5. All right, so in the time with his Chiefs, he had 78.5 sacks during 8 seasons with the Chiefs. So, I mean, he was definitely a good player for the Chiefs. He gave his revenge to the Chiefs. The Chiefs wanted
he wanted to go back.
He wanted to go back, and the Chiefs were like, no, so then cut him. And then now he's on the Colts.
He hopes to win that game for sure.
And then he took his anger out 100%. But I think in the Chiefs side, their defense was just horrendous though. Like the pass interference calls, I think that's insane. I think his name's Bashad Breeland. Yeah, he was like flagged 4 times for 68 yards, and like he had a 53-yard pass interference call. It was like
I remember that. It's like he I think didn't he like literally like push the guy?
He literally pushed the guy. Yeah. It's just insane. I mean, I could not. I mean, it's just insane. Yeah. I think also the Colts, they lost Kenny Moore in the first half, and that was another big injury, but it clearly didn't affect them because, I mean, Mahomes could not capitalize on the touchdowns, even with the injuries. Also, I was very happy that Adam Vinatieri hit his field goals. He scored the most points for the Colts.
I remember a couple of weeks ago, it was like he was coming out with an announcement, and I thought he was going to retire, but I don't remember ever seeing an announcement.
Yeah, I think no, he was definitely going to retire. And
he just didn't.
He just didn't because I think the Colts needed him.
Yes, I mean they're playing good
because the remaining kickers on the market aren't up to par to him, even with him performing poorly in the past.
Yeah, I mean I think he's gonna retire after this year for sure.
I think he
will. But we'll see. One thing I wanted to talk about was I remember seeing this. Eric Ebron, what is up with that? Because last year he was playing really good, and now he's getting out snapped by both Jack Doyle and Mo Alley-Cox.
Yeah, I mean, even targets, Eric Ebron only had 4 targets that game and only got 1 reception for 8 yards. He did well last week because he had 1 60-yard touchdown. I think that was how majority of his points came through. I don't know why he's not. Maybe it's not the system. No, he's not.
It's the same system, though, right?
That's what I thought. Maybe Brissett isn't looking at
That's
him
true.
the most. And Doyle was hurt most of the year last year, and he's back in the offense. And Doyle and him are almost the same player.
Yeah.
In terms of talent. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's affecting them. But even Mo Alley-Cox getting more
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I think the crazier thing is that I remember his name is Mo Alley-Cox.
But yeah, and also Paris Campbell didn't play this past week. I think he'll be back on the roster. So.
Who else is injured on that Colts team? They have a ton of injured players.
I think they'll be back though. I think Leonard's coming back, and I think Mac will be healthy for next week. Same with Hilton.
He still played good. He had 132 yards. I think, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean
he's top 5 in the rushing leaders.
Which makes sense because the Colts are now based on the runs. They're a run team.
I wanted to talk about Jacoby Brissett real quick because I remember I wanted to talk about whether or not you think he's a franchise quarterback yet. And after this game, what do you think as a Colts fan?
See, being franchise quarterback, I'm not sure yet because his performance wasn't really up to par either. He had 150 yards and a pick, so I can't really say. He ran the ball most of the time. So, it's I wouldn't say he did poorly, but
he's still
he's
high in the stats, though,
he's right? Kind of what Bridgewater's doing, treading water. But I think he's doing above that.
Because he's actually putting up numbers.
He's actually putting up numbers, yeah. Because excluding this game, he's been doing well almost every week. Yeah. So I think overall, I think as of right now, I have no problem with him as the starting quarterback for the Colts, and I don't think there's anyone on the market that could really. Affect him.
You traded third round pick for him, right?
Yeah. Okay. And he was drafted in the 3rd round.
So right now his touchdown to interception ratio is 10 for 3. That's really good. That puts them he's top. He's tied for 8th in the league for touchdowns, and he's tied with Tom Brady and Carson Wentz. So he's still playing. He's still a good player.
Yeah.
Let's transition to the surprise in air quotes firing of the week in Jay Gruden. I love that we just got to talk about it last week about him being bad, and then he just got fired. That's amazing.
He deserves to get fired. He got completely killed against the Patriots.
Does anyone deserve to get waken up for a 5 a.m. meeting though to get fired? I don't know, man.
There were also allegations of him. I already talked about him the weed thing, but I think he should have gotten fired. But the recent rumors are now coming out that he could sign with
his brother. Yep, yeah. John Gruden.
And John Gruden's welcome to the NFL world. When he got his reaction to him getting fired, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
It's they're 0-5, so that's all I gotta say.
They're not a good team though.
They're okay when they're healthy.
When you think about it, last year they were 5-2. They were winning the NFC East. Okay, they were beating 2 playoff teams. They were leading both playoff teams, the Cowboys and the Eagles, who both made it. They were in the lead, and then what's his face? Oh, Alex Smith. He just pulled what is his name? Joe Theismann, and just completely butchered his leg. And after that, injuries kept on piling up, and he went downhill. I think we talked about this last week. I don't want to talk about it even that much more. But Jay Gruden's an okay coach. He's not amazing. He's just okay, and
he's produced a lot of good coaches.
It's so sad. We were talking about this before too. Matt LaFleur came from there. Kyle Shanahan and
the wonder coach
Sean McVay. All 3 of those guys are head coaches right now. Their teams are all doing really good. And
Shanahan, Yeah, Shanahan.
Shanahan, I mean, you can't fault him for having an easy schedule.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, he's winning all these games, completely torched the Browns, who torched the Ravens the week before. So it's like, the Ravens are still a good team. Like, you can't...
Yeah, the Redskins did produce a lot of great coaches. And then Jay Gruden was the coach throughout that entire tenure for all those assistants. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that... I don't know if that gives a testament for how good he is. I mean, he's a very good offensive coach, though. Mm-hmm. Jay Gruden. I think that's why the Raiders are looking into signing him.
They don't have that much talent on their team, though. I mean, I looked at this. Terry McLaurin, he's an amazing rookie wide receiver.
Also, Geis
he was hurt. Geis is hurt.
Yeah.
You got like 79-year-old AP running the ball in the backfield. Yeah. You got Eric Flowers is your starting left guard. Eric Flowers.
Yeah.
He's literally known as being the turnstile. Like he's your left guard. You got Donald Penn, he's like 80 years old. I mean, he's good. Brandon Sheriff, he's a really good player on their offensive line. He's always hurt. Morgan Moses is okay. And then on the defensive line, you got Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Ryan Kerrigan. All three of those guys, they're good. So like they have decent defensive talent, but when you think about it, they don't have that much. Like I've been following this team obviously because I'm an Eagles fan, so I've followed like my rivals. They don't have much talent. I mean, they have Josh Norman and Landon Collins on that defense, and then after those three guys I mentioned before, there's literally no one. Like
Jonathan Allen's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean I already said his name though. Yeah. Like and Matt, I don't know his name. Matt Ioannidis. He's good.
Yeah, he's okay.
But like
the Redskins defense is definitely below par. Don't get it.
All these. I mean, these are all names that I recognize, but they're not like no superstars on that defense. You got like five names that I recognize that were like good players, but not amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then everyone else is just like a no-name player.
Yeah, Norman was. And
Norman just went downhill.
He went downhill. So
I think it might be the system, to be honest.
I think it might be the system.
Obviously, he's aged too. I mean, it's been 5 years, I think, since that 2015 season.
I think you can definitely. Also, the quarterback. I think after now, I think they should start Dwayne Haskins.
I just wanted to ask you. I just saw this right now before we started. What's his face? Oh, Case Keenum is gonna start if he's healthy. If not, then Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on this one. I think you should start Dwayne Haskins.
Now, because now I actually feel bad for him. Like, now he's going through a bunch of new coaches.
Yeah.
The interim coach, I think he should make the call and
just start Haskins.
And I can understand, like, even the Giants, they were, like, hesitant in starting Daniel Jones because they didn't want to, like, they got scared, I guess. Because, like, it may be too early. Because I think even like Jared Goff, when he was a rookie, he didn't start initially.
And then he did start.
And then he started.
But that learning experience is probably vital for him.
The learning experience is definitely needed, yeah.
I mean, I remember when Wentz got drafted, everyone wanted us to sit him, play Bradford, right? And obviously, stuff felt like we got really lucky with, I don't want to say this lucky, but Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. So, like, obviously I don't want to say lucky because of health, but, like, we got a first-round pick for him for Bradford because of that, and we got to start Wentz, and here we have, like a top 10 quarterback, and I'm happy about that. I think redshirting...
Mahomes, I think, was the best example.
Mahomes is the only good example of redshirting I can think of. Most quarterbacks are getting thrown in.
He played one game, and it was the last week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and is that really even redshirting? You got, like, a Pro Bowl quarterback there. I mean, like... What are you just gonna do?
Because Alex Smith was like really good.
What are you gonna do? Just not.
I would have even started Alex Smith.
Obviously, I would start out because you still have a good team who's competitive and
exactly. And then it paid off because they traded Alex Smith in the
they got picks
and then they
and then you got MVP caliber Holmes somehow. I don't know how that happened, but boom, he just showed up.
But they expected it. So
I don't think anyone expects their quarterback to throw 50 touchdowns in their second year.
I mean that they don't expect that, but I know they expected him to be step in. They thought he would exceed the shoes that Alex Smith wore.
But I think generally, just if you're drafting a young quarterback and like with the first round pick, I think you start them as early as you can. I think so, generally, like you got Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Who else?
Sean Watson started his rookie year.
He did start, and those players are good.
They did start people like initially, like he wasn't an immediate starter.
Savage was playing like the first couple weeks. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, what's the point of just sitting them down and I mean, like you can learn the playbook, sure, but like, I mean, obviously it takes time to learn the offensive system and all that, but the best way to learn it is by getting game reps. Like, practice reps aren't going to cut it when you're playing in the big leagues. So I don't understand the choice of, just not starting Dwayne Haskins. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Just go all in, I think, right?
Yeah.
Trent Williams. I wanted to talk about him. What is going on there, man?
No clue.
I mean, this organization is just so mediocre. Insane. He's sitting on your team like an all-pro left tackle.
You could make the argument he's the best left tackle.
And first of all, you're not paying him, so he's just, you're just wasting his rights right now. And then on top of that, you're not even getting trade value for him because you're just too stubborn to trade him. Like, just trade the damn man. I mean,
because he's not doing.
He's not helping your team. Anything. He's not helping your team. You're just giving your team an even badder image. Like, what head coach wants to go play in Washington? What players want to come play in Washington right now? If you're treating your, this guy's been on your team for like the last 7 years, you're treating him this badly. Like,
I think he needs to go. And they can get good value from him. That's what's annoying.
Exactly. Like, they just don't.
They can get insane value.
This is almost worse than the Texans.
If Laramie Tunsil got traded for what?
No, if he got traded for 2 first-round picks, you should be holding an auction for Trent Williams.
Exactly. It's Trent Williams. Come on, he's insane. It's like, I think it's a no-brainer because, the Redskins are not in the win now mentality, and if they are, they need to change it immediately.
They're not in a win anything mentality. They're gonna go 0-16.
I think they're completely screwed. I think they need to start Dwayne Haskins. I think Dwayne Haskins, in the right system, could end up being the best quarterback in that draft class. But he needs to show. They need to at least. And I can't make any predictions about him because he hasn't played yet. He played a game. He played like a half. And obviously, I expect him to look bad because it was his first game.
They literally threw him to the wolves.
Exactly. No, it is the Giants' defense, but it's still, even then, he played a half, and then immediately you're not going to give him the confidence to start the next game, and then it was just.
They're just such a poorly run organization, man.
Yeah.
I think they just gotta, or the owners just gotta sell it, get rid of Bruce Allen, just restart. just straight up, just scrub the entire team.
They got some good talent.
But what's the point? Have you looked at all their head coaches before this, even including Jay Gruden? All of them had below a 500 win percentage. All of them.
Shanahan.
All of them.
Yeah,
Every single
Shanahan.
one of them. Mike Shanahan, Gruden, I don't remember the other guys, but all these guys had losing records with that team. All of them.
So it's haven't been successful since RG3.
Yeah, all these coaches can't be terrible.
Yeah.
That's my mentality. They all can't be this bad. And
I think it's definitely
it's the ownership and the GM. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree.
Okay, so let's transition to another NFC team, CMC and the Carolina Panthers. So bold prediction. I think not bold prediction. This is my hot take right now. CMC is leading the MVP talks right now. I think he's the most valuable player. When it comes to actually, the name of the award, MVP, I think he's the most valuable player to his team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Right now I can't disagree with that statement because he's been killing it.
We'll pull up some stats right now. Right now, as of October 9th, 2019, he is first in the NFL in rushing with 587 yards, which is 117.4 yards per game. 6 touchdowns on the ground, tied second behind only Aaron Jones with his 4 touchdown game last week. So he's at 8. He's tied for 11th in receptions overall, including wide receivers and tight ends. Tied for 11 with, get this, DeAndre Hopkins, Allen Robinson, Robert Woods with 31 receptions. He's tied with all those guys. All those guys are Pro Bowl caliber to all-pro wide receiver caliber players, and he's tied with them right now for receptions. He has 279 receiving yards and 1 touchdown, so 7 total touchdowns, and he's leading the league in carries, 105 carries per game. That would be crazy. So he has 27.2 touches per game, 866 scrimmage yards, and 173.2 yards from scrimmage every game. So 170 yards per scrimmage every game.
That's nuts.
That's just nuts.
That is insane.
I saw this on Twitter. He has more yards than Zeke and Gurley combined right now.
He does. I did look at that as well.
It's by 40 yards too.
And it's not even close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's by far the best running back right now in football. It's not comparable yet, I should say. And I think by the way he's playing, he's even going to get himself a new contract, a new extension.
Pretty soon. Bring up the whole running back value again.
We talked a couple weeks back about running back value. He's right now definitely en route. Even if he's not maybe worth the money, he's going to get paid big bucks.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, you may not want to see it, but it's going to happen.
But it's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen. He's leading the team in rushing, damn near led the team in receiving. And he had more yards than Kyle Allen altogether. Kyle Allen didn't really do much that game. He had 180 yards and a touchdown.
So my thing is for this, he might actually win the MVP. He might actually win, and this is my argument for him, okay? Cam Newton, for those of you who don't know, former MVP quarterback Cam Newton, he's out with a foot injury, I want to say. And he's not playing. So you're starting some second-year player named Kyle Allen. He's playing surprisingly good, actually. 66.7 yards per completion, and he's 6 touchdowns for 0 picks. So he's not like playing mediocre. He's more of a game manager right now, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you got Kyle Allen, a second-year player. He's not blowing the roof off of anybody.
Yeah.
No Cam Newton, okay? And the fact is that he's literally carrying that team. Like, he's getting like most of their touches, most of like their points. Like, he's the biggest contributor to that offense. Without him, that offense doesn't run for sure. And they wouldn't be 3-2 without him.
But their rushing the game altogether is even good. Even outside of McCaffrey, Bonathan had 80 yards and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, who even got a couple of attempts, got 25 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that performance, they got 285 rushing yards. Rushing yards. Rushing yards. Goodness. 285.
So like, what's the other guy? What's his name?
Bonathan.
Yeah, Bonathan. That was another 80-yard touchdown run. So it's like...
He got 60-yard touchdown.
60-yard?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, so...
But, either way, yeah.
That just shows you... that's testament to the offensive line. That offensive line was terrible the last few years, and they're opening up some holes. Granted, it's against... Jacksonville's not even a bad defense.
They're definitely above average.
Yeah, they're above average defense.
Still,
I can't even take back that, granted.
Yeah, no.
They're playing good.
Above average.
I think... depending, obviously, this depends on the other two players right now, Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes, how they play out. But if this Panthers team has I'd say like an 11-5-ish record, maybe higher,
they'll win the division.
And if they win the division,
they could win it.
I think, and maybe even if he wins like a playoff game, I think he has a chance to win MVP.
Well, MVP votes happen before the playoffs, so that's, I guess, a good thing.
That's true.
So, right now, your argument, though, is pretty legitimate because, he's also getting the most targets on the team. Mm-hmm. And they have DJ Moore, who's not a scrub. He's really good. Curtis Samuel's not a scrub either. Yeah. Curtis Samuel may not be producing the numbers, but if you actually see him play, there's no way in hell he can call him.
He helps open up that entire
passing. Yeah, no. It's just McCaffrey is it's insane. 6 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown, even on the receiving side. Like, if a receiver had that just for wide receiver, if the wide receiver just had that, I would be satisfied with it. But he even got, on top of that, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So, what more can you ask of him? And they beat Jacksonville, who's been...
Minshew magic.
Minshew.
He tried to pull some magic, but then McCaffrey wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, no. They were close, though. They were definitely close. Even on Jacksonville, they played well. I think it's just McCaffrey was just unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the playoff implications for this team.
Yeah.
I think depending on the Saints and how well they play, because I'm not really impressed with Teddy Bridgewater that much. He's not scaring me.
He did well, though, last week.
He's playing okay, but he's not scaring me.
Really? Okay.
They're still a really good team.
They are, yeah.
But I think if the Panthers go head on with the Saints, it's going to be a fun game. And it'll be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers won. And looking at their team overall, their defense, okay? Their defense is playing really well right now. Amazingly well. They're 11th in points per game, 8th in yards per game, and 6th in yards per play. Okay? So that defense, that's still a very talented team from even like a couple years ago when they were playing really good. Offensively, 11th in points per game right now, 15 in yards per game, and 14th in yards per play. So they're like above average on the offense. Yeah. And like just the way this is looking at, I mean, just a quick side note. I looked this up. There's 6 teams in the NFC that are 3-2 right now. Rams, Philly, Dallas, Carolina, Chicago, and Minnesota.
And
all those teams are playoff contenders.
All of those teams.
All of those teams.
All of those. And sadly, only 2 at this moment. Only 2 of those would probably make it. I mean, because the wild card only allows 2. Mm-hmm. But maybe one of them could win the division, and then one of the division leaders could fall out. Yeah. But then again, like Philly and Dallas are tied, so that's not really, I guess, a good indication. But I mean, 6 teams that are 3-2 in the NFC.
I think my main point of that though is just the NFC is so it's like a crapshoot. Yeah. I think anything can happen. So like, I would not be surprised if the Panthers made the playoffs at all.
I would not be surprised either. I think they are at a really high run rate. That division though itself, I don't know what's going on.
Tampa Bay is just like they're interesting.
Very interesting. I think they almost beat the Saints. I think
they kind of closed it out at the end a little bit.
They did close it out.
It wasn't that close, I think.
It was still a 7-point game, but they had a late touchdown. That's why it was a 7-point game. But Bridgewater did play very well. He had 314 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. I think that's a very, very strong performance from him. I think you can't really ask more from Teddy Bridgewater at that moment.
Fair enough.
Michael Thomas had a breakout game as well. 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, and that was a division matchup. Jameis Winston had 204 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Chris Godwin, we keep on talking about
he's the number 1 fantasy wide receiver right now.
Yeah, he's now the number 1 fantasy wide receiver. And Mike Evans was non-existent that game. He had 3 targets, 0 receptions, nothing. And you made the argument that Mike Evans will be equal. It could still happen, but right now Godwin's on a completely another level. Mm-hmm. I mean, 9 targets compared to Mike Evans' 3. You can't argue with that. 7 receptions compared to 0. Can't argue with that either. So I mean, it's like it's just quite impressive what Tampa Bay is doing, and their defense is actually performing well. They may not have performed up to par this week.
They're playing okay.
It's also against the Saints, and it's in New Orleans.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a better.
They're definitely a better team. I think.
Yeah.
Even though their record does not say that they're like a better team, I think they'll pull through. They're 2-3 right now.
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs.
I don't think they'll make.
I think they're gonna be in contention.
They'll be in contention though. I'll put it this way: they could be like where the Browns were last year. They could reach there. Maybe not in the top 6 like playoffs, but they'll be like maybe 8. A good spot for them would be 7. I think they can get to 8, 9. So maybe like 8. If they get to 8 and 8, that would be impressive.
8 and 8, really?
I think that would be impressive. If they can get to 8 and 8,
I think they could get to 9 and 7.
You think they can get to 9 and 7? If they get to 9 and 7, that's like then they'll be like that could get you into the playoffs. But I mean, we'll see. That division is very stacked. I mean, the Falcons may not be.
The Falcons. I don't think the Falcons are a good team anymore.
Really? I mean, they did beat the Eagles, though.
Yeah, but that's different, okay? That game was just completely a shit show. Just straight up. I mean, everyone on that team just died that week. And then it's in Atlanta. I don't care what the records are saying. Like, in Atlanta, week 2, that's a hard place to play. Like,
I guess.
So, like, I mean, that just makes the L look worse for us. But, like, you know what? I'll take it. They're not going to do anything. Dan Quinn's not going to get fired, in my opinion, though.
No, yeah, he won't get fired. Because, I mean, they always have injuries, too. They have, like, major injuries, though. Mm-hmm. Like, Keanu Neal is... That's a major injury. And Devontae Freeman's not, like... He did okay this week, but he's not, like, playing, like, I guess, like, major up to par. Calvin Ridley played well this week. But, I mean, just in general, the receiving core is not, like, kind of, like, standing out. Matt Ryan's having a good season. I don't know what's really going on with them. I honestly do not know. It's just still
like I can't even make a good analysis about.
They lost to the Titans. They lose to the Texans. I mean,
the Colts.
They lost to the Colts. I mean, even the Colts, on paper, I even think they have a better team. Because the Falcons, they're one of those teams where they're a scary team if they make the playoffs.
Not this year.
Not this year, but they are. They are, though. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's just crazy.
I literally can't even think about this team because, like, I don't know what's going on.
So in general, that division though is just
that division's gonna be.
It's gonna
be a tighter division.
Tighter division than it normally is. Yeah, for sure. All right. So we're now gonna get to the section that just any bold predictions that you have this upcoming year or for the future that you think will happen. We'll start, I guess, with the year. I guess. So what do you have coming up? What bold predictions?
Bold prediction. Mitch Trubisky won't start for the Bears next year. Oh. The Lions. Other bold prediction: he's on another team next year.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. You won't start for the Bears next year. Okay. That's a very bold prediction. I don't ever see that happening, but because I mean it's only been 2 years, and now he's
Chase Daniel is carrying that team more than Mitch Trubisky was.
See, you could say that, but I think if Mitch Trubisky was playing against the Raiders, I think they would have won.
So this is my logic.
He had 2 picks and 2 touchdowns.
Okay, I mean that's not that good, but still, this is my logic, right? Their defense right now, like this is their window to win. Okay, like they have to win a Super Bowl within this year and maybe next year, because after that, their defensive costs are gonna start skyrocketing. Like Roquan Smith's gonna get a deal. I'm getting the other players, but they're like a ton of like good players. Eddie Jackson will get his deal. Like they'll start having to pay their defense. They're gonna start losing players in that team. Okay, so right now they're in like this perfect like honeymoon phase where it's like
the Seahawks were.
Yeah, pretty much. Except like Russell Wilson's actually a competent player.
Yeah. No, I'm saying on defense.
No, but what I'm saying is Russell Wilson, like he was good for them. Even like he was on his rookie quarterback.
He was good.
As his rookie rookie year, he was amazing. Second year, they literally won the Super Bowl. Okay,
and then the third year, they were about to repeat.
And look at him right now. Yeah. I mean, he's probably in the lead for the MVP talks. Like he's an elite player. Mitch Trubisky is the thing that's holding that team back offensively. So my thing is like, I mean, if you're a Bears fan, I think you genuinely need to think about moving on from them because this is your window right now, and if you want to win, before you have to, because the thing is, people are thinking this is his second year in this offensive system. Yeah. It looks like he's going downhill. So it's like he should be trending up. Instead, he's maybe staying stagnant, probably going down.
I mean, this year it's going down. He did have a good year last year. I'd say he's slightly above average last year. I think this year it's definitely way below average.
Well, you think he was above average last year?
Slightly.
I strongly disagree with that.
Slightly. Because, I mean, he was maybe like... I think maybe he was...
I'd say he was average, maybe.
I mean, you can make the argument that he was average, but I don't know. Maybe it's because of the wins that he had, but also, in fact, it was the defense also. But I think that's a kind of a reach of a statement because 2 years isn't too much to really say.
Okay, so you think it might be too early for it?
It's way too early.
Okay,
that statement. And I know you're just having a hatred for him because you know people that like praise him, so that's why. But like it's way too early to make that, in my opinion. And I mean, they should be, in essence, if Trubisky kind of played the way he did last year, they should be undefeated. There's no reason. They should beat the Packers, no problem. The Packers were terrible against the Bears outside of that one good drive that Aaron Rodgers had, which led them to win the game. Mm-hmm. And Trubisky did nothing. He did nothing. And it's not like the Packers D is like insanely strong because, I mean, even the Packers were leading by so much entering into the fourth quarter against Dallas. They just choked.
Yeah, I mean, Jair Alexander, I don't know what happened there. I think it was probably just an off day for him, to be honest. But still.
But you know what I'm saying. Like, the Packers D, you can't say they got exposed because they still won the game. But, I mean, they had their downsides. And Trubisky did not show that, like...
I mean, I still think that defense is generally... But they're good. They're a good defense.
But yeah, like going back to like what your point was, I think it's still a bit too early to make that.
Okay.
All right, so one for maybe this year. I have a pretty major bold prediction. AJ Green will get traded this year. I think some teams that are really looking into him. The Eagles are looking into him for sure. I know the Packers are looking into him. I know that the Cowboys are looking into him. Definitely the Patriots are definitely 100% going to look into him.
AJ Green is worth a first-round pick in my eyes.
Even now?
Yes,
even now. I think that's what the Bengals will be asking for.
Because right now, he's sort of on like a cheaper deal, I think. Like compared to other
he's still like more talented than like most.
He's still, I mean, I'd take him over Sammy Watkins even now.
I would take him over Sammy Watkins too. But I mean, and they're both injury prone, and even when they're injury prone, I'll still take AJ Green over Sammy Watkins.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that, I mean, and even there are trade talks, that there are trade rumors that are happening with him, even with Stephon Diggs. But I think
there's a lot of wide receivers like on the trade block right now.
On the trade block, yeah. I think even if he signs with the Niners, that could be scary as well.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. The Niners, the only thing they really need, I think, is like, you know, a good number one wide receiver.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Marquise Goodwin's pretty good, and he's a good wide receiver. You said really good. He could be like a wide receiver, too.
I think he's a really good wide receiver, too.
That's
my position on it.
But, yeah, he can't be a wide receiver. Not yet. He's, like, average as a wide receiver one. But you need a better wide receiver one. Because, I mean, if you want to show Garoppolo's, like, high points, I think he needs more of a receiver.
More than just Kittle.
Exactly. I mean, Kittle's insane.
Amazing.
He's insane. Yeah. He's definitely a top 5 tight end.
Yeah,
you could even say top 3. But, I mean, Garoppolo needs slightly a bit more. And if they do get a wide receiver one, like a top wide receiver one, like, let's say AB comes back. Let's say Diggs gets traded. Let's say Diggs gets traded. Let's say AJ Green. And we even talked about, and now there's recent rumors about OBJ getting traded. If he goes to the Niners, and that's one of the teams listed in the 3 teams that were talked about, right? If he gets traded to the Niners, if any one of them get traded to the Niners, I think they're not even just playoff contenders, but they could be Super Bowl contenders.
Okay, so you think AJ Green will get traded before the trade deadline?
Yes, 100%. Okay. I think it will happen.
So okay, I don't think it will, just because that team is what's a nice way of saying this? They're cheap, and Mike Brown is a cheap owner, and I think AJ Green has been on that team for almost a decade now. I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think AJ Green doesn't want to leave.
My decision is to trade him. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think if I'm running an organization, I'm trading AJ Green just because, like, I trade AJ Green just to get some, you know, actual talent on the offensive line, because right now your offensive line is garbage. But, just looking at it, I don't think they will. I think they're just too sentimental too.
Fair enough, but I mean. Also, they're in the rebuilding phase, I think, now. Because, I mean, they know that they're screwed this year. And they just lost to the Cardinals. I mean, that's, like, kind of low. So, I think right now...
Kyler clutch, man.
So, I think right now, I think they should look into trading these players. I don't think Mixon's going to get traded. There's no way in hell Mixon gets traded. I think... But I think, Geno Atkins will be on the chopping block. And I think so will AJ Green. I think... Definitely, they will be trading someone from the Bengals. Definitely by
I can agree with that.
And whether it be Geno Atkins or AJ Green, it could be even both. But I think I'm quite certain that AJ Green will get traded by the trade deadline.
Okay, so one thing I'm interested in talking about rebuilding teams. Well, I'm really interested in what the Dolphins are doing. It's almost like a Madden rebuild. Have you ever done those Madden rebuilds in franchise mode? Where you just trade everyone?
I think that's what they're trying to do, because I mean they're getting picks.
Who knows? They might end up with like 26 first-round picks the way it's going.
Like, I mean, you can compare it like into NBA terms. Like, do you know like what the Thunder is getting? Like in terms of like what they did when they traded for Paul George.
Oh yeah.
And they got like insane amount of picks back.
And they're gonna trade Chris Paul too.
Yeah, and then they're gonna trade Chris Paul at some point, and it's just insane how many picks that you can get for a franchise, and that could turn around your whole franchise.
Wait, they got 5 first-round picks, right?
Who?
In the NBA?
Yeah.
The OKC?
Yeah. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I think that could be the same with the Dolphins. Dolphins need a new start, and I think They're going to start at quarterback, I think, now. I think they know... I mean, Josh Rosen's kind of trending up, but he didn't have a good performance this...
I watched this breakdown on Josh Rosen. I think the bigger problem than him is just the fact that their offense just plain old sucks, man. That team is just flat out mediocre.
So do you think if he had better weapons, do you think he could still
be a franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
Depends on your definition of a franchise quarterback. I mean, like franchise quarterback, like Andy
like
Dalton franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz franchise quarterback, like
Andy Dalton is still, in my opinion, he still was a pretty good franchise quarterback. Because I mean, he did lead the Bengals to the playoffs sometimes. And he was a good regular season quarterback for the most part.
No, Andy Dalton's a good player. And I think the saddest thing is, like, if they decide to move on from him.
He has a bad name now because of how his recent performances are with the Bengals.
No, but, like, I mean, Andy Dalton is a good player. Like, I'd rather have Andy Dalton than Mitch Trubisky, in all honesty. Like, not even, like, no cap.
You're hating.
You're hating. I would take Andy Dalton over Mitch Trubisky.
You're hating. Even now? Like,
yes, even now.
Going forward?
Yes, going forward.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean,
going forward,
nuts.
I think he's a better player.
I don't like Mitchell Trubisky, but that's an insane statement.
No, I think Mitch Trubisky is not good, but I think Andy Dalton is, like, better than him. That was a really weird phrase. Sentence, but like I think I'd rather have Andy Dalton than Mitch Trubisky, and it'll be interesting to see if Andy Dalton gets traded away too, like anytime soon. Because
I mean they're
because I feel bad for him just because like he's been like a good player for that team.
Yeah.
But that being said, if he gets off the Bengals and he goes to like a good team, like I want to see what happens with this. He might have like a Carson Palmer end of his career flare up before he, retires.
I don't know, man. I think this is quite ridiculous. What you just
really?
Said.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Andy Dalton did have his time. I mean, he's doing well in passing yards even this year. I'm pretty sure he's in the top.
He's
10.
like number 2.
Number 2?
Or really? Number 3, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, he's doing well, like, in passing yards. Because, I mean, he throws these bombs. I mean, now John Ross is gone, but, like, he's throwing bombs to, like, Auden Tate or now Tyler Boyd. So, I mean, you can say that he's doing well, but, I mean, I don't know.
I think what's happening, they're 0-5 right now, right?
They're 0-5.
So yes. I think that's just more a product of their team. Like, they're I think
the defense. I
think behind the Dolphins and the Redskins, they're the least talented team in the league. So, which is why if you trade AJ Green, I'm 100% on board with it. Because, you could maybe get some good talent to help that team, but I think what's happening right now is more on the team than
just as like Dalton. This may not be a bold prediction, it's like a question. Just out of curiosity, I just want to know what you think. Do you think Stephon Diggs gets traded by the trade deadline?
I don't know. I mean, what's happening there is so weird. There's definitely something going on with Thielen, Diggs, and Kirk Cousins. And
yeah,
it's not looking good.
And he definitely wants to get traded. You can even tell by the way
he said something. It was like, do you want to stay in Minnesota? And he was like, yeah, I do. And then he like winked at the end of it.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to stay there. No, it's very obvious he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to stay there. I don't know. If he gets traded, I would not be surprised.
But I think the asking price is going to be through the roof. I think it'll probably be close to the lines of what Odell Beckham to the Giants.
I think one thing that people need to think about when it comes to trading players is it's their contracts and how long their contracts are. Like people are like they're trying to compare everyone just by value and all that. Like, and I disagree with that because like okay, look at Laramie Tunsil, right? I don't think he's worth two first round picks, but he's still on his rookie deal. Still got like a couple of years on his rookie deal.
So maybe that's why you're gonna.
You got the 5th year option, right? Like he's not worth it, but like
maybe later on you could think that was a good trade
because you getting a good player for
cheap.
Who could
potentially be your cornerstone for your franchise. Exactly.
And like I can't really think of any examples right now other than that, but like just in general, I think people. They're always like, oh my God, this guy, like OBJ went for like a 1st and a 3rd. How did Tunsil go for 2 firsts? OBJ is 100% better than Tunsil. But you got to look at contracts too. Like OBJ is making like a ton of money.
Yeah, no.
Tunsil's making literally like none. Well, not none, but you know what I mean. Like comparatively.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah, it's not even close.
So like, I mean, you got a lot of like amateur people, and I don't want to go.
And O line is very important. Too.
Yeah,
O line's. I mean, receivers definitely important, but O line that's damn important. So.
No, what I was trying to say is like you got a ton of amateur people. Like, and I don't want to say like we're pros or anything because we're just two high school students making like a podcast for fun. But like. You got people saying, like, they're completely trying to compare apples to apples when really it's, like, apples to, like, not even oranges, like blueberries. Like, you got completely different things going on here with contracts. And I think that's kind of underrated that people should probably think about.
Definitely.
How did we get to this? Talking about...
No, because we were talking about Diggs, right?
Yeah,
so,
Diggs.
Yeah.
OBJ, let's talk about him for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets traded?
I think he does not get traded. I think it's also, and if he does, it's too early to say at this moment to say he's going to get traded. Because, I mean, they're 2-3. Yes, OBJ only had one good game in the 5 weeks that he's played with the Browns, and it was against the Jets, so that's another thing. But, I mean, it's like, it's just too early. I think Baker Mayfield's also not performing up to par, so you can't blame it on OBJ necessarily that he's not. Because, I mean, Baker Mayfield got benched last week. He got benched at the end of the Niners game. See, I think he had 2 picks and 2 fumbles, and I think he had like 100 yards passing. It was just awful.
Was just not good.
But, I mean, the Niners defense, you have to give credit to the Niners defense. They did pull out pressure, hell of a pressure on Baker Mayfield. But even then, I think it's just crazy how to say that the Browns are even listening to offer.
I don't think it's crazy at all, in all honesty. I mean, I think what's going to be interesting to see what their asking price is. And when it comes down to it, I don't think they will trade him. But if they do trade him, I don't think it's that crazy.
If they trade him, it would have to be a ridiculous offer.
Here's my take on it. I saw this on the Colin Cowherd show. I don't really watch it, but it showed up in my recommend. I watched it. His targets have gone down from 11 to 10 to 6 last week against the Niners. His targets are going down. Meanwhile, looking at it, guess whose target share is going up or his touches?
Jarvis Landry.
No, not Nick Chubb.
Oh, Nick Chubb.
His touches are going like they're skyrocketing.
But that's because Nick Chubb's also getting better when it keeps on going up.
But my thing is Baker Mayfield is going down. Okay, right now Nick Chubb is going up. They're trying to force, like, do you see all these, like, weird gimmicky plays? Like, they're handing the ball off to OBJ. They're trying to, I think their identity right now is running the ball. You're going to get Kareem Hunt back, okay? You're going to get, Joker's not coming back this year, I think, but you have Landry, okay? You're getting Callaway back, okay? Rashard Higgins, he's a decent player. You got a ton of mouths to feed.
None of them are OBJ, though.
None of them are OBJ. Fair enough, okay? But the thing is, the way I'm seeing it is they're trying to force OBJ the ball. It's not working.
I mean, they're not really forcing it to him if his targets are going down.
No, the thing is, like...
But also, you have to look at how Baker Mayfield's performing, though, man. I think he hasn't been performing up to par. And he did perform well last week, and OBJ did not perform well last week. But also, you have to look at Nick Chubb also got killed.
Nick Chubb is carrying that team. I think they're slowly transitioning to a run-first offense. And the way I see it is...
Even though the Browns, they only got 3 points yesterday, but they still got, Nick Chubb still got, 100 yards. All purpose. So, I mean, I think that says, I guess Nick Chubb is carrying that team in that aspect.
The way I look at it right now, Jarvis Landry is outperforming OBJ. 100%.
Yeah,
do you agree with that?
There's no doubt about that, yeah.
And Kareem Hunt's coming back. Nick Chubb is playing amazing, okay? So... You got so many mouths to feed, and I think it's going to be maybe not right now, but it's going to be the way they're trying to give Odell the ball, with all these weird handoffs and stuff. To me, that shows that they're trying to give him the ball, and it's not working. Every time Mayfield targets OBJ, it's not going well. Okay, I think he had one.
I think also the defense but the defense also locks up OBJ. They double coverage on OBJ because know
that's fair enough.
They know that Landry's good, but I mean OBJ is if they lock him up, that itself will be a good thing.
That's an interesting argument, but that was happening in New York too. Eli Manning was hooking up with OBJ better than Baker Mayfield is
right now. Of right now, yeah. But also, it's only been 5 weeks. I think you have to wait.
I think you wait a couple weeks, see how everything goes. and then you really entertain the idea. Like right now, like I disagree with trading him right now, but if it trends the same direction it's going right now, which is down, then I think it's a good thing to think about.
All right. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about what happened this past week. I think a lot's happened.
Mm-hmm.
We already talked about Monday night. What happened with the Browns and the Niners? That was just a beatdown. Matt Breida, he did really well. 114 yards, but mainly on that 183-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But he was fast. He was
fastest player in the league ever this year so far. 23 miles an hour, I think.
Fast. My goodness.
Yeah.
Gosh. And then George Kittle, he did his thing. 70 yards and a touchdown, I think. That was a very good performance from him. Jimmy G, I think he was okay.
Still hasn't really shocked me or anything. But
he hasn't shocked me yet.
He's not hurting that team that much.
But yeah, he's never really shocked me in any ways. He's always... What I've thought of Jimmy G so far, he's like one of those quarterbacks that perform average but gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And
so Alex Smith.
Clearly, yeah, I guess you could say it that way. But I mean, because like he hasn't, I've never seen him get like 300, 400 passing yards. But I mean, I see him get the touchdowns, and
it's always like 2 touchdowns.
And,
like,
but he's a good game manager. I guess you could say it that way. Because I mean, other than last year where he's like he played hurt and then had a bad season last year, but he's been undefeated in the past like seasons before that. So he only got his first losses after last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he went 5-0.
He went 5-0.
He was playing good.
Yeah.
And then he was
2-0 with the.
And then he tore his ACL.
Exactly.
I think he's recovering. It's nice to see. One thing I want to talk about, you were talking about it earlier, the pressures. I'm so happy to see those like 5 first-round picks they've invested in that line. Like actually doing something. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is fun to watch. I love the flag planting and everything. Like that team kind of has swagger on that defensive line. I like it.
And they got Richard Sherman as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think. There was also some controversy going on with
the handshake.
The handshake.
Oh, it's called a Dapgate now, according to Pat McAfee. Because apparently, they like dapped it up, and then I think Sherman was lying. To be honest. I think he did this in Seattle too. Like he'd say something to like spark the defense up, and it was just complete BS.
Dang.
Yeah, I think
that's
what it is.
I could see that.
Because there's like a video where like they're clearly doing something with their hands, and Sherman had no reaction, like negative reaction. Like he was just sort of like, he was going with it.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
So it's like I don't know what was going on there, but
yeah.
Anyway, we talked about Carolina already.
Yeah, we already talked about the Jags-Panthers game. Minshew. I mean,
he tried to come back a little bit.
He tried to come back.
Nice.
He had an okay game. He did get 2 fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 374 yards, you can't deny that. And as a backup quarterback, which what he was initially, and he was a 6th-round pick, I think he's been performing at a very high level for that. And I think he could. It'll be an interesting topic later on when Nick Foles is ready, who will be the starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Leonard Fournette, the past 2 games, has also been 3-digit, 100 yards, 200 yards of previous games.
I know people were like afraid to draft him in fantasy football because of his injuries. He's been paying off for sure.
And then we haven't talked about this. DJ Chark is now, I think he's top 3 wide receiver.
He and that Minshew connection's going really well.
8 receptions, 164, and 2 touchdowns. You can't.
I mean, I remember looking at Chark's measurables. He ran like a 4.3. He was like 6'4". He was like
you can't deny that. That's insane.
He was one of those interesting players. I wanted to see how he turned out. Like, because he could either turn into like a Dorial Green Beckham, or that's a name from the past.
Yeah.
DGB, or he could end up being like amazing, which is what he's doing right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Ravens game.
That was Lamar Jackson. He wasn't up to par, I guess you could say.
It's a divisional game though. So.
But that's a divisional game.
Those things,
even with the scary Mason Rudolph injury that happened.
What happened? I mean, he's injured, right? Is he out now?
He's
concussion,
right? He's in concussion protocol. And he's trying to fast track it and try to play.
I feel so bad for Juju, man.
He did well. 75 yards and a touchdown. I think that's still pretty good. James Conner's always, I don't know. This year,
James Conner's, he's not doing it. I think, I was looking at all the stats. I was looking at the top 50 running back numbers for our project, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like near the bottom, like when it comes to like yards per game, like of those top 50.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, what? I think he was like 35 maybe.
Yeah.
Like he's not playing good.
Not.
The Bills game.
That says a lot about
14-7.
Bills again. I mean, the Bills are one of those teams that do score.
They literally don't score.
They don't score.
They don't score more than like 17.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
But then they also, on the other hand, they don't allow more than like 13. So it's like, I'll take it. That defense is amazing.
Frank Gore is still.
What is going on,
60
man?
yards.
He's like literally like 35.
Yeah, I don't know what's. He's still getting the job.
I mean, think about this. If you told me like a couple years ago, or even like last year, that Frank Gore would be on a team where they also traded away they cut LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Like LaShawn McCoy or Frank Gore, I mean, for me it's shady all day, man. Yeah, and the fact that they cut him and he's leading that team with, I think Singletary's hurt. Devin Singletary, he's hurt. So that would definitely boost his stats a little bit, but I mean, again, 14 for 60 is not amazing, but the thing is, he's old and he's still doing it.
You can definitely make the argument he's up there for one of the most consistent.
I think he's the most consistent running back, and I mean, maybe not Emmitt Smith level, but that's different. Like
he's
production.
Definitely but he's definitely up there for one of the most.
One of the more consistent, yeah.
Definitely in this decade, he's definitely the most consistent.
Yeah.
In this decade, you can't make that argument at all. He's definitely the most consistent. Pats, Redskins, we already talked about. I mean, I guess we didn't talk about how well the Pats played. But I guess you could say the Pats were down for the first time.
I was scared for the first 10 minutes. I was like, dude, I literally called this as the blowout of the week. And then I was like, wait, they're winning by like 7-6 or whatever.
Yeah, it was 7-6.
And then the talent finally caught up to them. And
then the second half it was 12-7. And then after that,
the floodgates opened. Yep. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that too much. Bears, Raiders. Impressive win by the Raiders, man. I think John Gruden's interesting to look at.
Maybe the foreign grounds maybe affected the Bears because I mean their rush defense was not.
I disagree with that though. I mean Oakland's literally flying from California. But I'm saying no, actually it does matter because Oakland came in to start the week and Chicago came in later.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's a fair enough argument. Like it might actually.
But their rush defense, though, like I was talking about, Josh Jacobs had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns, and the Bears' rush defense. Are you serious? Akeem Hicks, I mean, you can't say that. I mean, I don't know. It's very uncharacteristic of the Bears to allow 123 rushing yards. It's
uncharacteristic for them to allow more than 20 points.
Exactly. Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, they held Dalvin Cook down, and then how can they not?
Josh Jacobs
down.
Foreign ground, I mean, in the fact that it's over the pond, I mean, I think that definitely had an impact on it. But one thing that's interesting is, I mean, John Gruden, he's a good coach, I think.
He's a good coach.
I mean, the way they completely schemed out Khalil Mack.
I think no matter their performance, no matter what it is, he'll never get fired.
I mean, Khalil Mack was facing Colton Miller and some other tackle I'm not remembering right now, and they completely schemed him out of the game.
Yeah,
that was really cool to see.
Yeah, no, Khalil Mack was a non-factor that game. Mm-hmm. He wasn't,
and you can't say that often, especially against his old team.
Khalil Mack
facing his old friend
does not happen.
Yeah,
that never happens.
The Jets-Eagles game.
I don't need to talk.
Eagles game, slightly disappointed by the offense, more disappointed by the penalties. We can move on. We won the game. It was nice to not be stressful.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Falk was the quarterback. I think that's all you need to say.
Yeah. Giants-Vikings game.
Adam Thielen.
Thielen finally, he went from 1 week from throwing a fit on the sideline or to the reporters or whatever
about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted. 7 receptions, 130 and 2 touchdowns.
Dalvin Cook doing his thing again. Second in rushing still behind McCaffrey, but he's playing amazing too.
No, definitely. He's doing very well. I mean, it's unfortunate that the Giants had Sterling Shepard under concussion protocol. They had Wayne Gallman, who was their running back.
He got hurt too.
He got hurt. Right? He had concussion protocol in the first quarter. I think it's unfortunate. I think Danny Dimes, I feel bad for him. 10 points.
He's a rookie quarterback,
I think if everyone was playing, I thought the game could have been closer, but there's no way the Vikings would not have won that game.
Falcons, Texans.
Texans. I don't know how the score was 53-32. I don't know how it got so high.
It's because Will Fuller put up 60 fantasy points.
I mean, even Will Fuller, outside of Will Fuller, Carlos Hyde had a good game. So I'm like confused even
Watson
with that.
had a perfect pass rating, 158.3, 5 touchdowns, 426 yards. I think... I don't want to quote that. I wanted to say something about his completions. Like, he threw like an incredibly low amount of incompletions. But
Deshaun Watson's back in the MVP talks too, I think.
Yeah, I think he's getting there.
He's definitely behind Mahomes and Russell Wilson, but you can definitely make the argument he's third on that list. Because you can say he's inconsistent. I think weeks 1, 3, and 5 he's been performing very high. Week 2 and 4 he hasn't been performing.
I think it's too early to put him in the conversation right now.
I don't know.
I think this is just one game against the Falcons team that doesn't know how to play defense. So
you say that, but the Eagles lost to them. And
we already talked about. We're not going to bring this up again, man. It's painful to think about. No, but fair enough. What did I want to talk about here? Oh, I love Deshaun Watson's his press conferences now. He's just doing He's just like going through like everything the defense does. It's like a mini he's trying to teach reporters. That's amazing, man. I hope this is like a weekly thing. I mean, I can't really understand what he's saying. He's going really fast for me, but it's fun to see.
Yeah. No, for sure. I don't know what's going on with DeAndre Hopkins though. He's not like.
I'm not afraid for him. I think he'll pick it up.
Yeah, but I think. I think starting this week he'll pick it up for sure because he's against Kansas City. Yeah. He's gonna torch them up. That's gonna be exciting to see. Cardinals Bengals, the one game I think nobody cared about, right?
Yeah, I mean this is why no one cares about this game of the week.
I mean, I guess Kyler Murray got his first win of his career.
Nice comeback in overtime. That was nice to see.
I think congratulations to him. Kyler Murray also led the team in rushing. He had 93 yards rushing and a touchdown.
David Johnson was the leading receiver, I think.
So basically, it's a 2-man offense.
Yep.
That's just. That's what everyone expected.
You got old man Fitz coming in every couple weeks doing something.
2-man offense. Sometimes, most of the time, it's a 3-man offense, but this time 2-man offense. It's fine. Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and that's a 3-man offense. Okay, that's it. Bucks Saints.
We already touched on this.
That. Chargers Broncos.
That was surprising.
This was surprising, but I think also it's maybe because Melvin Gordon is back. I don't know why they started him immediately because he had 12 attempts for 31 yards.
Okay, correct me if I'm saying this correctly or not. This is my first time looking at it. Austin Eckler had 15 receptions?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's more than Amari Cooper had this past week. And Michael Thomas. And Will Fuller, who had the outstanding game. But he had 15 receptions.
For Fuller, yeah.
He had 15 receptions. I think that's nuts. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know.
Rivers didn't play that well, man. I think
Rivers did not play well.
This team, last season, as early as last season, we were talking about how, this is one of the most talented teams in football.
Definitely.
And it's this season, I don't know what's happening. I mean, Derwin James hurt. Melvin Gordon's, just missed a ton of time. If Phillip Rivers starts, declining, pulling what Max Kellerman wants Tom Brady to do and just completely falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
That team is just, it's scary to think about.
But kudos to Philip Lindsay and Cortland Sutton. Both played very well.
Cortland Sutton touchdown was nice, man. Yeah. That was really fun.
That was a dime ball and a great catch. Wow.
I want to see what first of all, Joe Flacco, pulling out a dub. That's nice to see. But low key, and by low key I mean high key. I want to see Drew Lock start soon. I think the minute this team gets eliminated from playoff contention, which will happen soon, just go out and throw.
I think that's what they're planning too, and it doesn't make sense. I agree. I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco should agree with that too.
Yeah.
I think that's the smart thing to do. America's game of the week. America's game of the week. Not my game of the week. America's game of the week. Packers Cowboys. That game, the Packers were awful the fourth quarter and the second quarter. But outside that, they were just killing it.
Yeah. I think
Aaron Rodgers had nothing, but that's because Aaron Jones was everything.
Yeah. He literally had quick math right now. 182 all-purpose yards. Scrimmage yards, sorry, not all-purpose. 4 touchdowns. Zeke, and we talked about this last week. We'll touch on it again. The best way to stop this team is by stopping Zeke.
He didn't have enough carries, though, man.
They're at 12, but that's because they went down. They're literally fighting from 31-3. You got to throw the ball if you're planning to win the game at that point.
Dak did have the most passing yards in his career with 463.
Yeah, but he also had 3 picks.
He had 3 picks. I think that's the one downside. I think 3 picks definitely killed it. He did really well the fourth quarter, though. Don't get me wrong.
This has nothing to do with it, but Wentz threw 3 touchdowns and he threw 3 picks. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. We can go back to talking about Amari Cooper now.
But Carson Wentz also had 150 yards against the Packers.
Yards doesn't mean anything. We won the game. He threw 3 touchdowns. We're going to talk about Amari Cooper right now. He had a nice spin move on, I think it was Jerry Alexander.
Yeah,
he looked like he straight up yeeted some guy off the sideline. It was kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
Fun game. It was a nice game to see.
I think Aaron Jones definitely stole the show, though, for sure, in that game.
When Aaron Rodgers picks it up, it's going to be fun.
Aaron Jones, I'm just saying this based off fantasy points maybe, but Aaron Jones has been very consistent, I think, in his performances. But I don't know. One Achilles heel that I'm seeing in the Packers is how they're performing at the 1-yard line. Are you seeing? I don't know if you're seeing that, but whenever they're on the 1-yard line, they seem to struggle to score. They always for some reason at the 1-yard line they don't QB sneak it, because I think
I don't think you want to QB sneak it when he has. He's coming off of a collarbone, right?
Fair enough. But, for a guy that's a mobile, he's pretty mobile, right? Mm-hmm. And I think even then, I would even dive it in with Aaron Jones. But the thing is, when they're on the 1-yard line, they seem to pass the ball more. That's why I'm having a problem with what's going on.
I think they might be pulling a Steve Sarkisian for the Falcons. He's just not good in that. I don't even know if he's on that team anymore. I don't think he is, but they just don't know how to score on the 1-yard. It'll be interesting to see what goes on.
Definitely.
We already talked about Colts and Chiefs. Rams Seahawks.
That I think was the game of the week, right?
Yeah.
And then that happened early. That happened on Thursday night.
That was a fun Thursday night game.
That was a very good Thursday night game. I thought Greg the Leg Zerline let me down, but that's okay. People can make that mistake once in a while.
I was watching this game.
Justin Tucker did miss a PAT a couple of years back to lose a game. Mm-hmm. So I think
that is what it is.
It is what it is.
You can't make every single kick.
That guy is a legend.
He's still an amazing kicker.
He's a legend.
I hope this doesn't impact him in the future. He'll pull a Blair Walsh and his career.
Yeah, because Blair Walsh was a good kicker before he started missing.
Greg the Leg is better than Blair Walsh. I think he'll be fine.
I think that's the main. I guess.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson did kill it.
I love Russell Wilson. My brother's an Eagles fan. Still has a Russell Wilson's jersey in his closet.
Yeah,
it's fun to see.
Russell Wilson killed it.
I love Chris Carson.
Chris Carson is.
He's just like a pinball. He just balances off everything. Yeah, it's fun to see.
Yeah, and then Will Dissly. Tight end Will Dissly. Oh my gosh!
Every time I hear his name, I hear like farmers music in the background,
Will Dissly. Yeah, that is quite crazy. And the tight end, both tight ends on both teams. So Will Dissly did well, but Gerald Everett from the Rams, I think he did very well as a tight end.
Yep.
He had his career yard in receiving, career game in receiving with 136 yards. Todd Gurley, this was his best performance this year.
Not saying much though. He finally got some decent amount of touches. I think he got 18 touches 15, if I had my notes right.
15.
No, 18 touches receptions.
Including receptions.
18 touches total, 2 touchdowns. Right now he's a touchdown dependent player.
As of right now, yeah. Jones is like that too, but Jones is actually Jones is getting rushing yards now. Too.
Jones gets touches. I think every single week Jones has more touches than
but Jones every week gets a touchdown too, though.
Not every week.
I think other than the Bears games, he's gotten a Bears.
No, I think you're right about that. I want to look back at that, but I think that's true.
Yeah.
Want to move on to week 6?
Yeah.
Predictions?
This week's gonna be pretty interesting. Actually, I think a lot could happen. But that's not gonna start with Thursday night. That's for sure.
For those of you who don't know, it's the Giants at the Patriots.
Yeah.
The Patriots are 17-point favorites. I don't know if that's the biggest this season, but that's pretty big.
I think the Patriots against the Dolphins was a bigger spread.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Jets-Eagles game was a 14-point spread.
That's pretty big as well. I'm going to take the Patriots on that one.
Yeah, I don't think we should talk about this.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's not coming back this week. So, I mean, he's still, like, way ahead of his timetable to come back.
Yep.
But he will see him next week, I think, but not this week.
We got a London game coming up on Sunday morning. We got
Panthers-Bucks. Yep.
This is going to be an interesting game. This is a division game as well, so this is kind of a must-win game for both teams. Because, I mean, 3-2, 2-3, that's basically one game behind. And a win here ties it up and gets the head advantage. Right now,
the Panthers are 2-point favorites. I think I'm going to choose Carolina here.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. The thing is, they already played each other, and the Bucks won.
Oh right, yeah, that was week 2, right?
Exactly. And
but
they shut down McCaffrey. McCaffrey was non-existent in that game. Awful.
I mean, Cam Newton was also playing that game, so I think Carolina wins just because they're a better defensive talented team. They're both traveling to London. It's a defense. It's a division game. I don't think they lose twice to Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay is good enough for Carolina to lose twice in a row.
Okay.
Twice against them.
I'll also agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Carolina. Also because I have Christian McCaffrey on my fantasy team.
A man of true culture.
I can't really root against. I mean, that's just because he does well doesn't necessarily mean they'll win. But normally that offense is based on him, so points wise. But even regardless of fantasy, I think Carolina's going to win because, I mean, it'll be a close game, though. I expect it to be – it should be decided. I think it'll be a one-possession game for sure. Okay. But, yeah, I think Carolina wins that game.
Next up, I can't make a prediction for this next game because I'm going to keep this going. I'm not predicting any Eagles games, but just breaking it down, Dalvin Cook is going to get shut down, I think, for sure.
All right, then you already gave your prediction.
No, no predictions here. I mean, what I want to say.
That's a pretty strong indication of where you're going.
No, Dalvin Cook, top 2 running back right now, versus the best running defense in football. And I think the more important thing is that while we're number 1 at stopping the run, we're like 27th at stopping the pass. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball more. And I mean, I'd love if they stuck to the run just because it's just not going to work most likely. But, I mean, our team is so bad secondary-wise. I think you just got to throw it.
All right, so this game's in Minnesota.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, Reed. I'm going to take the Vikings on this one.
Okay, they're 3-point favorites just to have
They are 3-point favorites. I think they'll cover it. I think it'll be 3 points. I think they'll win by a touchdown. Okay,
bold. Moving on. Sorry. I can't say anything. So we'll move on. Texans at Chiefs.
This could be game of the week. Yeah.
The Chiefs defense still sucks. They're 5-point favorites. It's in Kansas City. Chiefs defense still sucks. So the Texans are gonna, I think they're gonna continue what they did against Atlanta last week
and take the W.
Upset of the week. Texans win it all.
Texans win it. Huh?
Upset of the week.
Really? I find it interesting how Kansas City keeps on getting these home games, man. What the heck? They just keep on playing at home. I think Kansas City wins. I think they'll bounce back. I think Tyreek Hill plays this week, too. So
if Tyreek Hill plays, then...
You're going to change your pick?
No, I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, that's what's up, Reed. Yeah. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill's playing this week. Okay. I think that's going to be... I mean, he's questionable right now, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week, and I think that's going to do it for them. Mm-hmm. And Mahomes, he's playing, I guess, somewhat with a tweaked ankle, but I think he should be fine.
Yeah. It's something to watch. Like
he's a dog. Earlier. He has a dog mentality, so I think he's gonna pull through it, and I think the Chiefs will take this one. Okay. And I also need them to because I don't want the Texans to be leading the division. So, yeah. All right. Yeah.
Slight homer pick there, then.
Yeah. Slightly, but yeah. Even regardless, I'll still take the Chiefs. Yeah.
Next game.
This could be the most important game. Who's gonna
win the?
Who's not gonna become winless?
The tank fest of the game, man. Yeah. Tank fest of the year. What tank fest? Tank bowl. Tank bowl.
I
like tank bowl.
I think the Dolphins win the tank bowl. So basically, I got the Redskins winning.
Okay, I was confused for a second. Okay, so you got the Redskins winning this game.
Yeah, they win the toilet bowl. It means the Dolphins win the toilet bowl. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, I'm confused. So if you win, you lose.
Yeah, if you win the toilet bowl, you lose the game.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
the Dolphins are the Redskins are 3.5-point favorites in Miami. I don't want to even this. I want this game to end as a tie, just for the memes.
All right, yeah, okay. I would pick a tie, but since I have to pick a team, I'll pick the Redskins. But I mean, I'll pick the Redskins. I really don't care who wins. If I'm wrong about this prediction, I honestly couldn't care.
Redskins fans aren't watching this game. Dolphins fans aren't watching this game. No one's watching this game.
Yeah, if anyone even goes to this game, I'll be kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
This is gonna.
I want to see how much these tickets are
worth.
For
this type of game, I want to see Dwayne Haskins start. I think.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what they're doing.
He could be like, this is where they can make the conversation. Is he better than Daniel Jones if he kills it against the Dolphins? Okay, dude, this is gonna be another interesting game. Saints, Jags.
This is what? The Jags are 1-point favorites at home?
Because it's at home, and Teddy Bridgewater is actually facing a legitimate defense.
He's facing a legitimate quarterback, too.
And, hey, yeah.
Gardner the GOAT Minshew, man.
And DJ Chark, in terms of performance-wise, is performing the same level as Michael Thomas.
I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think the Saints win.
Oh, really? I think the Saints are going to win, too.
I don't understand why it's only a 1-point spread.
I think it's mainly because normally, since it's an away game, that affects it.
Yeah, I know, but
also the Jags defense. Bridgewater's I think he's gonna face a lot of pressure against that Jags defense because it's kind of how Bridgewater faced the same pressure when he was against the Rams defense. I think that's gonna carry over.
True, I guess, but I don't. I think the
Saints when the Saints were against the Cowboys defense was not up to par.
I think the Cowboys defense might be better than Jacksonville though.
I agree, but the thing is, the Cowboys weren't playing up to par in general. They just weren't there. That's the same with last week against Green Bay. I think that they're just not I don't know what's going on.
They're not all there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's mainly because they played easier opponents in the first 3 weeks.
I think the Saints they cover the spread, they win. I think they win by a touchdown.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it'll be a 1-possession game. I got Saints win.
This is another pretty big spread. Bengals at Ravens, 11.5-point favorites.
I'm not going to talk about this game.
Yep, we can just keep on moving on.
Move on.
We all know who wins that game.
Okay, Seahawks, Browns.
Seahawks are. It's in Cleveland. Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites. I think that should be higher. I think. I think the Seahawks win it.
I think the Browns win it. Okay.
Really? Okay.
I think Odell comes back.
You think Odell comes back? Okay.
And I think that's the only reason they win. Actually, and Nick Chubb. Chubb.
I can't pick this team until Baker Mayfield stops leading the league in interceptions.
Okay.
So I'll stick with Seattle.
All right, yeah. I think the game gets close, though. And if it's not close, it'll be because of Baker Mayfield. Simple as that.
Yep.
Like it was with the Seattle with the 49ers game. I predicted Browns would win, and that's...
I picked the 49ers, you picked the Browns, if I remember, right?
Correct, yeah. But this time, the Niners might lose their win streak. They're against the Rams. The
Rams at home. Rams are 3-point favorites. So this game is in LA. I just want to take a short break. This NFC West division it's fire.
It's fire.
It's nice to see.
Outside of the
the Cardinals, but I mean the Cardinals are also like a joke of an organization. Anyway, Jared Goff versus Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Breida versus Todd Gurley,
which is actually comparable now since Todd Gurley's not looking up to par like he normally.
Okay, I think the 49ers.
It's in LA, but in LA doesn't mean anything because the Rams.
Yeah, I mean there's gonna be more 49ers fans maybe.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't be surprised. It may even be 50-50, but yeah.
I think I want to pick the 49ers. I think that defensive line is going to give Jared Goff fits. And I also think Jimmy Garoppolo will be just good enough to game manage this game. And it'll be a close game. But I don't see the Rams going 3-3, so I'll pick the Rams.
Oh, wow. I mean, I have the same exact reasonings for why you'd pick the 49ers, and that's exactly why I'm picking the 49ers.
Okay, sticking with it. Okay, yeah. I like it.
I think the Niners go 5-0, and I think it's because of the pressure that Jared Goff's going to be facing.
I mean, Aaron Donald versus the 49ers offensive line, they did a really good job against Myles Garrett. I mean, I only ever heard his name once on a positive play.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think
But then again, Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's good, but Aaron Donald's
Yeah, but Aaron Donald's not playing that.
He's not playing that.
He's more. I think. Yeah. I'd say. I think there's a fair enough argument you can make that Myles Garrett's playing better than Aaron Donald right now this season.
Fair enough.
So I think. I mean, both those players are similar.
That's because Aaron Donald's having a slow start.
Though. Yeah, I mean, Donald also plays in the interior. So I mean, I don't know how well the interior of that defensive line will hold up, but just seeing how they faced the 49ers, great pass rush with. I mean, Joe Staley's out. They're playing with backup tackles and stuff. Yeah. And they did a good job. Kyle Shanahan, I can see why you picked the 49ers. I just can't see the Rams going 3-3. So I'll stick with the Rams there.
Yeah, because I feel like the Rams now think this is a must-win game. Mm-hmm. So I can see why.
Falcons, Cardinals.
They'll be in that. They'll then be they're going to be third in the. I mean, they're right now our third.
They're right now our third, which is whack.
That's whack. That is whack. That's very whack. This game's also pretty
It's
irrelevant.
Another tank bowl, I think.
This is kind of a tank bowl. I mean, I don't know how the Cardinals have a better record than the Falcons. That blows my mind. But this, for some reason, I think the Falcons are going to cover the spread. They're 2.5 point favorites. I think
in Arizona, I think Atlanta wins. Nothing much to talk about here. I just think they're a better team.
And I find it shocking how Austin Hooper leads the team in receiving yards.
Yep, I just saw that.
Ridley or Julio Jones.
I mean, he's ahead of Larry Fitzgerald in every statistic except they're tied for 2 touchdowns apiece. So that's interesting to see. Yeah. Titans at Broncos.
I think Broncos win this game.
You think the Broncos win? It's a 2-point. The Broncos are 2-point favorites at home.
Broncos, I think they now started to catch the fire after they beat the Chargers. I think that's a pretty big win. I mean, the Chargers aren't at full health. They don't have Derwin James, but I mean, that's a pretty big win, I would say. And I think
the Titans win it. I just think.
And to be fair, Broncos, all of their games have been close. Outside of...
No, it's going to be a close game. That's why it's only a 2-point spread. So, it's going to be a close game.
You can make the argument they beat the Bears. You could have made... They could have beat...
They should have beat the
Bears.
Bears.
They should have beat the Bears, exactly. I mean... But yeah, they should... Their record doesn't mean it. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, but I'm saying their record doesn't mean anything because don't look at the record and judge the team. That's all. That's why I'm saying I think the Broncos will win this game.
I think the Broncos... Okay.
But A.J. Brown, though. Oh, wow. He's been killing it for the Titans.
I think this is just one of those games where it's no one watches it, but the Titans somehow sneak by,
Yeah, I think I could see that happen, too. I don't want to see it happen, but, I mean, I'll say the Broncos will win this game.
Okay, moving on. Cowboys at Jets.
I don't even know how it's how the spread is only at 7 points. It should be higher.
I think because Darnold's coming back.
Oh, yeah, true. He's cleared to play now, so he is playing.
I don't think it would matter too much.
I guess that's why it's a 7-point spread. And if the Cowboys lose this game, they should give up all hope. Agreed? Agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, what's the point? I mean,
all right. Okay.
I mean, the Eagles literally they were asking the Jets to come back into that game, and they just didn't. So if you lose to the Jets, you might as well just end this. Just start tanking.
Unless Sam Darnold goes off. Mm-hmm. That's the only way that you can't make that comparison.
Has he ever gone off, though? He went off his first game against Detroit. And
after he threw that pick six.
Yeah, and then after that he
went off. Yeah.
I don't think he ever went off after that, though. He's just been kind of cruising. Sunday Night Football. This matchup looks so good before the season. Steelers at Chargers.
Gordon would play. Hunter Henry would be there.
Chargers are 6.5-point favorites. Yeah. I think the Chargers win it.
I think the Steelers win it.
Really? I mean, I don't think is Rudolph playing. He's still.
If Rudolph even doesn't play, I'll still take the Steelers.
Really?
You know why? It's because even their backup quarterback. I think he's okay.
Who's their backup right now?
I don't even remember the name, and I don't even need to know the name because I think it's I don't even know. But I think James Conner and Juju will and their defense is actually not even that bad. So I think they'll carry it over, and I think they should be able to get this win. It is in LA, so maybe that could change anything.
Okay, their quarterback behind Mason Rudolph is Devlin Hodges.
Yeah, that's his name.
Who is he?
Yeah, he did okay, I guess, in last week, but because I mean the game was close against Baltimore last week. I think that's gonna be my upset, I guess, of the week. I guess that's an upset.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean that is for sure an upset.
Yeah, that's probably.
It's just a shame that this game is.
I think that's my only upset.
I mean, this game would have been so fun like last season. Big Ben, healthy Phillip Rivers, Derwin James, and it's just not gonna turn out the way it should.
That's my upset of the week. I'll take the Steelers.
And then game of the week, in my opinion, Lions at Packers, Monday Night Football. Yeah. Okay, quick. Okay, we just need to pause this real quick. Can we get Booger out of the commentating booth?
Booger McFarland?
Yes, get him out. Yeah, oh my lord. Apparently, the 49ers' outlook on the season is completely dependent on Kyle Juszczyk, the only team that uses like an actual fullback. Kyle Juszczyk. He also said that Myles Garrett needs to develop a signature move in order to be an elite pass rusher.
He already is an elite pass rusher.
Exactly.
He can't get much. He can't get much. There's no way he can go down, and I think he's already like. I don't think he needs a signature skill. What the heck, signature skill? What?
Yes, exactly. What?
That's not
get Booger out of this booth. I mean, he's just. It makes Monday Night Football such a pain to watch.
That's what they keep on throwing money at Peyton to do it, but Peyton's still doing that ESPN.
Do you know who Zach Schaumler is?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
You should check out his work. I think he might. He's definitely not going to commentate an NFL game anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I would take him for sure over Booger McFarland. I mean, first of all, his name's Booger. Second of all, he has no productive value to that. I mean, I think me and you could probably have a better commentator than Booger McFarland. I mean, at least they got rid of the Booger Mobile, so that's fine. Getting back to the game, the Packers are 4-point favorites at home.
I think they cover it.
I think they win. Yeah.
Do you think they cover or it's closer?
I think they don't cover it. I think it's going to be close. I think 4 points. I think it'll be like a 4-point spread. Like it will end up being like really close.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Detroit. They're coming off a bye week, so I mean they probably had more time to prepare. But I think the Packers are just more talented, and it's in Lambeau Field.
Packers can't lose this game because then they'll go to 2 losses, and then they would
be second, and the Lions would be first. Right?
No, they wouldn't. The Lions would be 3-2-1, and the Packers would be 4-2.
Oh,
so they'd still be winning the division.
All right. Okay.
I can't see the Packers losing 2 in Lambeau in a row. That's my take.
Okay.
So I'll stick with that.
All right, then I'm with you. I think the Packers win this game.
It's going to be a fun game.
I think I'm with you. I think that it'll be like a 4-point game, 3-point game maybe, 3 to 4 points.
I love that we're actually thinking of the Lions of as a nice team. Like who would have thought this would be a good game? But here we are, and it is going to be a good game.
It's going to be a very good game. I think it'll be close. I think what's his name? Kerryon Johnson will do very well this game, and I think. The Packers have been shutting down the run a lot recently, but I think Kerryon Johnson will bring it back up. And Devontae Adams is coming back for the Packers. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the main thing. And Aaron Jones is coming off a breakout performance, so
we'll see if that continues.
We'll see if he continues, and if he does continue, then there's going to be no doubt in my mind.
I mean, I don't know the stats, but Matthew Stafford is just not good against the Packers. So I would just.
But he's been a good quarterback this year so far. I mean, in 4 games, he's not.
He's been playing good. Yeah, he's been playing good.
Only
for sure.
2 picks this year. 9 touchdowns. That's not. I mean,
you can make an argument he's been playing better than Rodgers for sure, and I would agree with that argument.
And I would agree with that right now as well. Rodgers hasn't been like really. He hasn't been standout. His stats aren't showing it, but when you see him play, he's obviously you're gonna say he's playing well. When you see him play,
I don't think he's been playing. I mean, the Cowboys game he was good. So,
the Cowboys game he was good.
I mean, I think that game.
The Eagles game, you can make the argument he wasn't playing like well.
No, he was playing well that game.
But
too.
I mean,
until Adams went out.
Until Adams went out. That's what I meant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Normally, you see the closer, Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't see it that time but that's also because their wide receiver one is out. But he did lead the team down the field.
Yeah.
take some props there. But yeah, Packers should be able to win this game. And if they don't, I would be quite shocked.
Yep. Wow, okay.
Actually, no, the Lions, if they do win, they would be leading the division because they're 3-1-1.
3-1-1.
They only have one loss.
Oh, no, but...
They only have one loss.
It goes by losses first,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
I thought it went by wins first, you're right.
No,
nope.
It doesn't, yeah.
They would be winning, correct. Okay.
It goes, that would be a higher percentage than what the Packers win percentage would be. Yeah.
I mean, do you have anything left to say?
No. Colts are taking a bye week, so I got nothing else to say. So do the Bears, Bills, Raiders. I think this is going to be an interesting week of football. I wouldn't say I don't know if it will be more interesting than last week, but
we got some nice matchups this week.
We got some nice matchups.
Way better than week 4. That week 4 week was
the key matchups I think that we do need to look at are the Eagles, Vikings, Texans, Chiefs, Seahawks, Browns,
and Packers, Lions, right?
Packers, Lions.
That's 4 good matchups.
And then the Niners, Rams could potentially be a good matchup too.
Wait, let's just plan my schedule first. So, probably not going to watch the Giants game tomorrow. Not going to watch the Panthers game. Watch the Eagles game at 1. And then the 4 p.m. slots, 49ers, Rams. I'll probably watch that. And then probably won't watch Sunday Night Football. And then Lions, Packers. So I think we got some nice game slots going.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's all I got to say for this week.
Okay. You good?
Yeah, I'm good now.
We'll end it off on a high note. Mitch Trubisky sucks. Thanks for listening, everyone. Share this podcast on Instagram. Give us some likes and reviews on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to this. Have a good weekend and peace out. Bye.